first, the stock market was a barn burner. It was very hot from 62 to 66. When it comes to bonds, this has been the worst year-to-date performance in bonds in anyone's lifetime. And by some measures, you have to piecemeal the bonds, but to try and get the record, the worst since 1788. That's more than 250 years ago, or almost 250 years ago. So it's been a very, very rough market for investors. We think there is light at the end of the tunnel. The light is that the Fed is getting a lot of signals that will ultimately end up in the lagging indicators called the PPI and the CPI. They're getting a lot of indicators, and I think a lot of companies are going to be telegraphing in their earnings reports this next month that we are in recession. And I do believe the Fed will do a double take. Big down rounds happening very quickly. He repeated what he said in Jackson Hole, essentially. They're focused only on prices. Now, they have a dual mandate, employment and prices. Frankly, I'm happier that they're focused on more of a price rule, so that's good. But I think the reason for the pivot is going to be a massive amount of deflation in the system. It's already here. If you look at commodity prices, the gold price, for example, it actually peaked in August of 2020, and it's at the lower end of a 2-year range, while copper has broken down, oil is breaking down, lumber has crashed, iron ore as well. Freight rates out there are suggesting that the supply chains are loosening up quite significantly. The rates are coming down. So we've got deflation in the system, and the way I describe what's going on right now, I was in my early days in my career in the early 80s when Volcker was taking a sledgehammer to inflation because it was embedded in the system after 15 years of profligate spending, Vietnam War, Great Society, and then going off the gold exchange standard. A sledgehammer, that's what he needed. That is what I believe Chairman Powell thinks he needs. And we just don't think that's true because we see so much deflation. And then one more thing. We also see a massive inventory overhang around the world. You've got Europe in recession, China in recession effectively. And here in the United States, retailers are bulging with inventories, which will have to be cleared with discounts. So we think we're going to see some major downside surprises in inflation during the next 3 to 6 months. The Fed is looking at the PCE deflator, which peaked in February at 5.3%. It's down to 4.6%. And we believe we've already seen some negative numbers. Nobody believes them. We do. And we believe we're going to see some more negative numbers during the next 3 to 6 months. So wouldn't be surprised to see it well down into the threes.